Welcome to Believers Talk with Joe and Steve. I am your host. My name is Joe, and I wanted to get on here live as I have not been able to post a video recently. If you watched the live stream we did with the Bills and Bengals game, you know that I went away this week for my real job. So I haven't been able to get some videos done. So I wanted to get on here live as soon as I could to let you guys know that I am here. I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns game a little bit, talk more about that game in more depth. Or I'm sorry, the Cincinnati Bengals game. Talk about that a little bit more in depth, and just talking about the Bears. I think there are some important things that we have to remember about the Bears game as well. Um, I think there's actually some position battles that are still very important in that game. I don't think we will see too much from Nathan Peterman. That's another thing. I kind of wanted to wait to see if Coach McDermott named our starter, which he hasn't been able to do. The really good news about that's really come out this week, to me at least, the biggest news was the fact that Kyle Williams has been practicing a little bit. I mean, light practice, but it's good to see him back on the field and see how he's progressing from the injury. Again, last we heard it was a week-to-week injury. So to know that he's back on the practice field, getting some reps in, is good to hear. I don't know if he'll be ready for the regular season, but we will see. So getting into the Cleveland Browns game, Fox 87, how you doing? We are one of our most loyal watchers and subscribers, so we definitely appreciate that. Um, Going back to the Bengals game this past Sunday, wasn't that great. The good news is what I really liked to hear from Sean McDermott on Monday was they were mixing up the offensive line. So the offensive line did look pretty bad, but it's not because that's our starting offensive unit. He kind of wanted to see what would happen when those injuries do occur. Like he said Monday, injuries happen every week basically within the offensive line. Nothing serious, but every once in a while you have to rotate offensive lines. Very rarely, if ever, do we see a team who started the season with an offensive line have the same offensive line throughout the whole season. People get dinged up, stuff happens. So you want to be ready for that. And that was good to hear because that means that he was just trying new things. Now um it stinks that it didn't work out because we still will have that issue come the regular season. But we'll see. Unfortunately, no Fox 87. I will not be streaming tomorrow for the Bears game, as it's the fourth preseason game. Obviously, a lot of our starters won't play. And I'm up north even further than Buffalo for my work conference. So I think the game's at 7:30. I can check my phone for you real quick just to double check that. But I think the game starts at 7:30, maybe 8 because it is in Chicago. So with the hour time difference, it's possible that it starts at 8. So at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. So tomorrow at QB, I think will be AJ McCarron actually. Him missing the third week, I think he might get reps come this fourth week, and he might finish the whole game because there's still question as to whether or not we're going to keep AJ McCarron on the roster. Some people say he's still going to be our starter. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how can it go from a hairline fracture in the collarbone to he's ready to go? Like, no, okay, I'm happy he didn't have a hairline fracture in his collarbone. I think we can all agree on that. However, that doesn't mean we can just throw him back in there and think everything's fine. Obviously, he was sore, and so he needs to heal up no matter what it is. I do believe Nathan Peterman will start week 1. I really do. After his performance on Sunday, he was the only one, and Sean McDermott talked about this in his press conference. Josh Allen is not the only one to blame for the offensive struggles, and you are like he is correct. But I was listening to Buffalo Fanatics and Rico, who I love his videos. If you guys are not subscribed to Buffalo Fanatics, subscribe to them too. Again, he even said it. As much Bills content as you can get it because we're coming up, guys. We're coming up. But he's been on the Nathan Peterman train for quite some time, and it's time that people kind of get on board. He said like yeah, sure, we could say, oh, he destroyed the second string, but that's what you want your quarterback to do. You like if he didn't destroy the second string, then we'd have issues. Then we'd say, oh, wait, they're both bums or they're all bums. So I do think that, Nathan Peterman was able to move with the ones in week one, able to move with the threes in week two, and then able to move with the twos in week three. Like, so he's moved the ball every time he's been on the field. How can you not? And we can't say that about our other two quarterbacks. You put McCoy in there, he hasn't seen much time at all. You have Benjamin in there for a full game. Um, we'll see what happens. I like what we saw from our tight ends, our tight end sets. Obviously, getting them more involved, that's exciting. I'm really excited about that. We haven't used fully used our tight ends like I would like to see. And that's another thing. And I think I said this during the live stream of the game. Using those tight ends when you have a bad offensive line is a great move. Quick 3-step drops, 5-step drops. Then linebackers and even defensive ends will have to drop back into coverage. They'll have to combat that by not sending so many on the blitz. Well, what does that give you? More time. Your offensive line can have double team somebody. You'll have an offensive lineman that doesn't have any block. So as long as he knows where he's going to help out when he needs to, that will help. Having McCoy in the backfield, that's going to be a different threat than having Chris Ivory back there. So I'm not sold on the fact that our offensive line is just going to stink. I love Rico too. But I do think it does need improvement, but I just don't know where we're getting that. I think in the live stream we did of the game, someone asked, where are we going to trade for offensive linemen? I really don't think so. At this point, I think we have who we have. That can be an issue. And I'm not saying we won't make a trade in season, but even that would be tough. We give it the best offensive lineman available by via trade, and to just bring him into a system and think that he's going to work out immediately. I think that's just not smart. I think he'll have to work his way into the system and learn the system a little bit better before we can just stick him in there and think that everything's going to be fine offensive line. It's just not. And we know where the issue is. It's not that hard to see. I really hope we start Wyatt Teller to start the regular season. He's looked pretty good in the preseason. He's looked better than what we've had there. So I really do hope we start him. Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have to cut. We might have to cut someone who's a cap casual. You're right, Bills fan 1970. Welcome, thank you for joining me on the stream. Because we are close to that salary cap number, and with injuries piling up already with McCarron and Kyle Williams, who knows if we have to sign someone else at a different position. And we also want to make sure that we have some some salary space, whatever, salary space, so that way, when other teams drop people, when cut people, when the cuts come at the end of the fourth preseason game, so probably this weekend, we have room to sign some of them, because some of them are going to fit needs we have, including possibly offensive line. So we want to make sure we have enough room to sign those players if we need to. So I do look forward to that a little bit. More about the Cincinnati game. Man, Tremaine Edmonds, not the greatest first half in the world, but he didn't do anything terrible in the first half. But man, that second half, that first and second drive of the second half, he took over, and it was really good to see. You could see him progressing on the field, just getting better and better and better. I really look forward to seeing what he can provide in the regular season. And again, I think I said this in the stream again, but I think the week one matchup against Baltimore is getting a little bit lighter. Jimmy Smith's gonna be out for 4 games for a suspension. Hunter, or their recently acquired tight end, their draft pick, I want to say Hurst or Hunter or something like that. But anyway, he's injured, so he won't be there week one. I think that really works in our favor, because we saw Cincinnati, how they kind of carved us up over the middle in the preseason game. So hopefully we have those ends cleared up by the start of the regular season with White and Vontae Davis. Vontae Davis, another guy, had a real shaky first half. I think he really stepped it up in the second half on those first 2 series he played. So I did like that. I did like seeing some more aggression from him. That hit he made in the third quarter against, I forget who caught the ball for Cincinnati, was still a catch, but man, it was a good hit, and it wasn't penalized, which was a big thing, right? As soon as you see a big hit, you have to look around the field to make sure there's no flags. It's kind of like pass interference, right? So when there's a big play downfield and it's incomplete, before us fans start cheering, we kind of hold for a second to make sure we don't see that little thing in the corner that says flag, or that we don't see a flag coming into the screen, because everyone says refs are late throwing the flag sometimes, but you have to remember in real speed, like a referee has to see the play, and then he has to figure out in his head what he saw, and then figure out if it's a penalty or not. And then he has to reach in, grab. It's not like he's reaching in, grabbing the flag, and then pointing it back. Do you know how bad that would look? Like that would look a lot worse than if he pulled it out and throws it right away. So you can't have officials just like reaching into their buckle for their flag, pulling it out, and then saying, "Oh wait, that wasn't a penalty," because then the coaches would go nuts. We would go nuts. I think it's happened before, and it just gets shown over and over and over again. So I know those flags sometimes seem late, and I know as a high school official I might be a little biased, but we do have to give them a little credit. And the good thing is, I'm going to say about 85% of the time they're right, and so we can't. Maybe it's even more than that. So we'll see. We'll see. So I was happy with Tremaine Edmonds in this preseason game. I was happy with Vontae Davis in the second half of this preseason game. Marcus Murphy still looked good. Again, I think he's solidified himself as the second running back. And depending if we use him on special teams or not, I personally don't think we should use him on special teams. I think we should solely use him as if he's our second back, we should solely use him as our second back and make a Clay or I think we had another guy returning kicks this past week too. But make one of them our McLeod. McLeod was returning kicks too. Make one of them our return men. And so that way Murphy can focus on being the number 2 guy. Because I think we're going to try to sit McCoy a little bit more this year. Bring him out for rests. He has at 30 years old. So I don't know what you guys think, but I do think McCoy is going to see a lot more rest than he did in previous seasons, just so he can stay fresh and we can keep him on the field as long as we can. Other than that, tight ends, again, our tight ends really impressed me. Didn't see much from Charles Clay. And that's kind of been the case this whole preseason. I wish we'd see more from Charles Clay. But Nick O'Leary stepped it up. Logan Thomas stepped up. So that was good to see, especially Logan Thomas. He really hasn't done too much this preseason. So to see him step it up, make some plays. And again, Peterman's finding those tight ends, and we have to appreciate that as well. So that's really what impressed me out of that third preseason game. I know if you were watching with me, I didn't sound too impressed most of the time because I wasn't. Again, we did lose that game, and although the score doesn't matter, we looked horrible in the first half. Who makes it for CB? You mean starting CB? Because Gaines looked good too when he came in for Vontae Davis. As was stated in other channels, Vontae Davis was actually benched in this game. So, and then Gaines came in and he held his own. He didn't do great. But I do think Vontae Davis will still be a starter. As far as cornerbacks go, I think we keep Johnson since he was a draft pick. I know he hasn't played that well in the preseason. He was our 5th round. No, because we had 2 5th rounds. So I think Johnson and Wyatt Tyler were both 5th round picks. But yeah, we'll keep Johnson. We'll keep Gaines. We'll keep Davis, and then we'll keep Davis White, obviously. So I think those will be our 4 corners that we'll see this season. And then obviously you have your safeties with Hyde and Poyer. Gaines can also play safety, but I think he's going to come in more as a corner. I think that's how McDermott wants to use him and Frazier as well. So that's why I think it's going to make it a cornerback. How about you, Mark? Mark, what do you think? And by the way, thank you for joining Believers Talk. If you have not already subscribed to Believers Talk, please be sure to do that. Turn on the notifications because we will be going live for all regular season games except for 2. The primetime Monday night game, we will not be going live for because we both plan to be there. So we might do like some sort of live thing, especially at halftime, because at halftime they will be retiring Thurman Thomas's number. So we look forward to that. And then week 11 at the Jacksonville Jaguars game, I will be there as well. So I will not be able to stream for that game again. I might come on maybe beforehand or right after, and then or both, and just talk about the game a little bit. So we can look forward to that. But that's week 11. But week 1 against Baltimore, 1:00. I will be going live for that game, giving you commentary and play-by-play. So subscribe, hit the notification, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Social media is going crazy, guys, as you all probably know. look at you guys watching us on YouTube. Probably have a bunch of different YouTube channels that you subscribe to. So that's just keep following and keep supporting the channel. That'd be great. Share, share this with your friends and family. So and your other social media sites, so people can get on here. If they're Bills fans, they want to be here because as we keep adding players, dropping players, as the cuts happen, we're gonna have all those reports to give to you. No matter who the name is, we're going to throw out names you probably haven't heard and you didn't know were on the roster, but we're going to let you know who they were and what position they played, if they got cut, if they got added, why we feel like they got cut or added, and what we feel like their contribution to the team is going to be. So we do look forward to that. Let's go Bills! Absolutely right, Justin. Um, yeah, Bush is really like a unique kind of guy, and that's I think why we're going to keep him, where he can both be corner and safety. So we've said it on this channel plenty of times. Coach McDermott, one of his main theories is versatility is like huge, right? So as long as you're versatile, you know, then you can do it. Your best ability is versatility, something I don't know. I don't know these things, but oh yeah. I did talk about that a little bit earlier. I do believe that Wyatt Teller should start on offensive line. He hasn't played great, but he hasn't played terrible. He's been the best that we have. So um, I feel like he really should actually start. But like I said, it was good to hear Coach McDermott talk about how he was just trying to mix up the lines a little bit. So there was a little bit of mixing up the lines, and that might have led to a little bit of the lack of communication. But that's still something we need to figure out as the season goes on, because we are going to have to switch up offensive lines just due to injury and things of that nature. So I actually think Bodine played better than Groy at center this past game. I'm not sure what that means for Groy as far as where he's going to start, but I felt like he played good at guard when he got put there too. So we'll see what happens in that battle as well. I think they both play week 4. I don't know why. I just feel like we're still undecided at center. I'm not happy about that. Like I said in my pregame for the Bengals game, I want that to be decided by now, but I still think it's an undecided spot. So no, Siren did not do anything, and that's why he was mostly on special teams for this game and this past game, and I feel like there was a reason for that. We want to see if he could contribute on special teams, um, and he really didn't do that much on special teams. Now how much can he prove in one game in special teams? I'm not sure. He'll definitely be there week 4, I think, to see what he can do, because I think he's on the roster bubble right now because he hasn't done anything this preseason. He hasn't done anything to prove to me at least that he deserves a roster spot. Now again, I'm not there at practice, so I am not sure what they see, what the coaches see during practices. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if Siren Neal does make the team again. At this point, I don't think he will, but you never know. So now we look forward to the Browns tomorrow, 8 o'clock in Chicago. Um, Again, the big thing here is we want to avoid injury. I mean, I'm looking at the game now, and there's a point spread and all that kind of stuff, which is crazy to me. Does anyone on here bet bet at all, and B, if they bet, do they bet on preseason football? You got be smarter than that. I mean, preseason football is a complete crapshoot. We know how unpredictable the NFL is, and yet people still bet regular season games, and I do it too sometimes for fun. But betting preseason just seems crazy to me. Like, why would you do that? So, but yeah, the main thing is we want to avoid injury. I know a lot of these guys are backups, but our backups can be just as important come regular season. So, and some of these guys might not make the team. And wouldn't that just be awful if we have a guy that was supposed to make the team as a backup, maybe a third string guy, and he gets hurt, and now we have to cut him. That's kind of the way it goes sometimes. But that really stinks because that's our depth. I mean, and that guy would have been better than whoever we keep now. So that's my opinion. I don't know. And excuse me, I do think McCarron will probably start most of the game, actually, if not all the game. I do think whoever starts the game will be the starter for the whole game. Maybe it's a good time for Josh Allen to play a whole game. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely want to start Nathan Peterman because I do believe Nathan Peterman is our starter week 1. And I said in the live stream, I'm going to think that until Coach McDermott says otherwise. He's had nothing but good things to say about Nathan Peterman. He's always stuck up for him. Nathan Peterman's been the only one to consistently move the offense so far this preseason. So I do think he's going to be the starter week 1. So I don't think we play him tomorrow night against the Bears. And I think maybe we play Josh Allen, but I think most will probably play AJ McCarron if he is healthy. So that's my prediction as far as him. We will not see McCoy again, which is, well, I'm not upset that McCoy's not playing in preseason game 4. He shouldn't. But I really wish we were seeing him in the 3rd week of preseason. During the live stream, a couple of you made a good point that maybe the Bills know something we don't, and they're getting ready for life without Sean McCoy. The way Marcus Murphy's been playing, I'm not scared. Like, I think, before the preseason started, I would have been really upset and probably had a prediction a little bit lower than what it is, what I think it's going to be now, if I knew McCoy was going to be out this year, or for any amount of games. But with Marcus Murphy there, I really feel a little more confident in the way he's been doing. And with Travis Cadet, even though, like I said, I actually think Keith Ford has been doing better than Cadet in this preseason. So I'm not surprised if we keep 4 running backs. I would not be surprised if it's Ford and not Cadet. So, but we will see. Wide receivers, I don't see Coleman, Benjamin, or Zay Jones playing. The rest, I could very easily see playing. You're talking about Curley, you're talking about Austin Prohl, Robert Foster, Ray McLeod, Rod Streeter. I could easily see those 5 guys playing. And I think there's another 1 or 2, and we might even pick up 1 or 2 just to play this preseason game. And then, the 4th game is the dumbest sports bet you can make, because you don't even know who's playing. Like, we don't even know who's playing the game. So for Bears or for our team, because the Bears have a lot of questions too. Obviously Mitchell Trubisky won't be playing. Okay. Obviously Howard won't be playing. Okay. There's going to be players that are playing, but we don't even know, who else is playing, and we haven't really watched them. Have you watched them? I haven't. To say how their second string is, like, it's just really dumb bet. But yeah, so most of our wide receivers, other than the top 3, I do see playing. I don't see Charles Clay playing again, which is fine because, again, he's constantly someone who gets plagued by injuries. So I'm not upset to see him not play in this game. So we will probably see more O'Leary. We'll probably see more Logan Thomas. Probably see Kroom. Probably see Lee. And we'll see how they can do. Again, I think we feed them as much as we can. If people are going to leave them open, keep throwing the ball. We should take what we can get. So, offensive line, that will be shuffled around again. I actually won't be surprised if we see a lot of our starters on the offensive line play this game, just because I don't know if we know who our starters are at all the spots. So we need to see who's most comfortable where before we just go out for the regular season. On defense, I do expect to. We do have a fullback that came in who will be playing probably the whole preseason game. So DeMarco won't play any of this game, I don't think. On defense, Tremaine Edmonds will be out. Vontae Davis, Javius White. Pretty much all of our defensive ends and our defensive tackles will be out this game. Milano won't play. Foyer, Hyde, they won't play. So, yeah, none of our starting defense will play. I think our starting defense is actually pretty set. And I think there's going to be a rotation of defensive end, defensive tackles, and some of those guys might play in this game, but that'll be about it. As far as the game itself, like I said, I'm not really concerned as far as the outcome. I do hope to see some progression made from some of our second string guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Marcus Murphy actually doesn't play either. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just Chris Ivory, Cadet, and Ford in the backfield for this game. I will have a post game of some sort. As you probably tell if you're listening, I've been suffering from some sort of sickness, so I've been trying to get a little bit better there. And I just wanted to get on here and kind of tell you guys where I've been at. Again, I've been on vacation. Do I think Al would be done? Wait. Do I think Allen would have done better with McCoy? You mean Sunday? Of course. Absolutely. I think McCoy is a much bigger threat than anyone else we have on that team, and I mean anybody else we have on that team. And that changes the defensive strategy. And if people think that since it's preseason, they go with the same defensive strategy, you can think that, but they don't. They know who's running in the backfield. They know it's not McCoy. Then that changes everything. And McCoy can catch out of the backfield, so I don't think we lost anything as far as blocking out of the backfield. But I think McCoy is much better in the screen game and also just a bigger threat to run the ball. So I think that would have had them playing more of a run blitz type D instead of a pass blitz. And so that might have alleviated some of those sacks or some of those throwaways. You know, excuse me. That one throw they had to Charles Clay down the sideline, he underthrew him. Why? Because he didn't set his feet. You know, he was scrambling, going off to the side, and then he doesn't set his set his feet and just throws the ball. And it hits the defender pretty much in the back. Charles Clay had to come back to make sure it wasn't intercepted. You know, if he has time to plant his feet there, you know, and he's accurate, then that again could be a touchdown. It seems like his two biggest plays, Allen's biggest plays, that is, you know, he's either led the receiver out of bounds in the Robert Foster play, the first preseason play of the year, or his first preseason play of the year, I should say, or he was short with Charles Clay. So, you know, I do believe that that he would have done better with McCoy in there, and it's unfair. Well, not unfair. It's unfortunate that McCoy didn't play. I think, but Coach McDermott has his reasons. You know, Coach Dable has his reasons. I think Coach Dable probably will want him out there. I personally would. Saw Coach Dable in the box again, and again, I'm not a fan of that, but if he gets a better view up there and he thinks he can, you know, communicate with the quarterback, then from there, then I think that I'm okay with that. But I don't expect much from this fourth preseason game with the Browns. Again, don't see any of our stars playing. Um, Hopefully, we get some guys that could cut on other teams that we can add to our depth, especially at offensive line, defensive line. Those are our two biggest concerns, I think, at this moment. I'm not concerned about the quarterback position. I feel confident. Again, I think it's going to be Nathan Peterman. We all have seen Nathan Peterman move the ball quite well in the three preseason games. So, and I trust our wide receivers, even though I know our fourth wide receiver is still not determined. But even if it's Curley or McLeod, I'm pretty confident that they will get the job done. I like our starting three, so I think we'll be good there. So I don't know if anyone else had anything they wanted to ask or talk about, but that's all I want to talk about here. Again, I apologize that the post game show for the Cincy game was not on Monday. What about the Marlowe hit? Trying to remember it. Give me a second here. What quarter was that in? I'll look it up real quick. I don't know if I remember it. I'm not the brightest sometimes. I'll give me that. Uh, oh, yeah. Well, I don't make too much of it. I mean, it's preseason. To be honest, I was more upset about the Landry hit the previous week than I was about that hit um, that Marlowe laid. But I don't know if it's even going to be on here, so I can see it again. But yeah, I remember the Landry hit in the Browns game, and that was really upsetting. Um, that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to look it up right now on my phone. They're showing me McDonald's thing. B? What's B? We did have a lot of flags in this game. A lot of penalties on the Bills this game. We need to clean that up. We do need to clean that up, and we need to do a better job of tackling. I'm watching that the first drive, but yeah, I just remember we had a lot of penalties in this game, and that was very upsetting as well. But we'll try to do better. That's what this preseason is all about. Just trying to constantly get better. And we have one more game to try to do that before the live action starts. Again, if you are new to the channel, subscribe. If you haven't heard already, we will be going live for all the regular season games, except for two of them. That will be the primetime game, Monday night game against New England, and the Jacksonville game, week 11 or 12. I think it's 11, but other than that, we will be live. So September 9th, set your notifications, set up a reminder for you. Be here for Believers Talk. We'll do live commentary. I'll be feeling better. We'll have some chat going on in the room as well. So we will definitely be able to do that for you guys, bring that to you guys. So if you're unable to watch the game or if you want to talk with Bills fans, then we can do that. Yeah, I'm not impressed with either line right now, offense or defense. Neither of them have impressed me. Haven't got to the quarterback that much in any of the three games. So I really hope we get better. both on both lines. I really hope we get better. And again, we might find some much needed added depth when players get cut from other teams. So I look forward to that. And again, we will be here giving you that. All the drops, all people we add, we'll give that to you here. Again, we're at 90 right now. We have to get that down to 53 before September 9th. So, and that cut process starts after tomorrow's game. I know there's a timeline where we have to get it done by, I think it's Monday. But don't quote me on that. I'll look that up as well. I will be home this weekend. Maybe I'll get another video on here talking about the Bears game. By then, we'll probably have some people that we have cut, maybe some people that we're looking at as far as looking into adding them to our roster. So we'll see what happens with all that. But that's what I'm going to have for you guys tonight. Hope you guys have a great night. Again, if you have not already subscribed to Believes Talk, please be sure to do that. We will keep you updated on all Bills news throughout the season, regular season, postseason, and hopefully beyond. Hopefully we do a little better than last year. Maybe just score more than 3 points in a postseason game. But that's it from here. Again, have a good night. Thank you for joining me. Till next time, go Bills.